So as a kid, I got scammed a bunch of times, or I got at least practical jokes played on me more times than I would care to admit. But here I am caring to admit. Uh, Sometime back in elementary school, back when kids used to play outside, myself included. Now these days I'm more of a indoor person, sort of by choice, but also by the 21st century's habituation and work culture. But I digress. Some kid, probably was a fourth grader. Probably was the same fourth grader that scammed me out of my Yu-Gi-Oh! God cards. But someone told me that if you dig far enough and deep enough, you'll eventually hit China. And I think many kids have been told this exact same thing. And after digging for maybe I don't know, probably 15 minutes or something, which felt like a lifetime, I probably made it a whole 16, 17 inches in total. And eventually I realized, hey, the person who told me that I'm going to find China, he's nowhere to be found. And it's getting harder and harder to dig deeper and deeper. So I don't care anymore. That's one of my first experiences hearing about China, which I have nothing bad to say. It's just a very interesting coming of age kind of story, I suppose. But today we are in that spirit going to be reacting to China by Tori Amos. Love reacting to Tori. Her music is always so profound and deep in its meaning. Her performances just ooze care for herself, for others. I'm excited to hear more from her today. And that is all thanks to Scott the Bold for making this donation request and selection. Thank you very much, my friend. Now, let's just jump in. Tori Amos and Montreux, just like that. Is she adjusting her seat, I think?
China, all the way to New York, I can feel the distance getting close. You're right next to me.
It's like globalization.
But
people getting closer.
I need an airplane. I can feel the distance as you breathe. Sometimes I think you want me to touch you. How can I when you build the great wall around you?
The Great Wall of China, using that imagery.
When you build the great wall around you.
But he's building it around himself. So the two lovers in this case are geographically separated, which is kind of, serving as a metaphor for emotional separation. But it's not just that they're distant. He's distant and he's putting walls up around himself. So the emotional connection is made even harder. And it's interesting because I had this recent reaction where I talked a little bit about long distance. And for me, a long distance relationship, it is not what I would prefer. I think maybe most people wouldn't prefer it, but I really don't prefer it. I'm a very physical touch kind of person. And it is harder for me to emotionally connect with a romantic interest, my partner, if we are consistently far from one another. It's not to say that that couldn't be improved, but it does kind of make the logistics of reconnecting a lot harder, especially if somebody's building walls around themselves from that distance.
When you build the great wall around you, in your eyes I saw a future together. You just look away.
Oh, her voice. Hauntingly beautiful, as always.
China, decorates our table.
Oh, like china
Funny
plates.
how the cracks don't seem to show. For the
Like china plates, they're often very ornamented. So if there are cracks in the foundation, it may be harder to see. And the thing that I like too about this like play on words with China in mind is the fact that even though China is very far, you'll see glimpses of it here, or you'll be reminded of that person locally, despite them being far, right? Let's say you guys have a shared favorite book, and then in your bookshelf behind you is that book, and now every time you look at it, you're reminded of that person, but it could be cracked, and if you're not looking for those cracks, or if it's well concealed, you haven't really even tested the strength of your relationship. You've kind of let things exist a bit under the rug, I guess you could say.
wine, dear. You say we'll take vacation, but we never can agree on where to go. Sometimes
It's like incompatibility.
I think you want me to touch you. Well, how can I when you build the great wall around you? In your eyes, I saw a future together. You just look away in the distance. Oh yes, I know you love to hit me, boy. Yeah, you love to hit me, boy.
You love to hit me. Oh,
China,
whoa.
all the way to New York.
That, like, you like to hit me almost feels like not necessarily like domestic violence or abuse. It feels more about like like feels you, this is how you feel something with me, is when you show your discontent with our relationship. So hit me, make this more than something just flat, more than just an association. Somehow with our distance and this emotional disconnect, the only way we're able to connect now is through miscommunication or through being angry at one another rather than actually being able to connect. And it's honestly very tragic if you think about it, because you've both made the decision to be together despite being apart, and your miscommunication, these emotional barriers, your inability to bridge closeness, even if you are, let's say, in physical proximity to one another, all of these factors contribute to almost like resentment in the relationship. It's ultimately tragic because I think a lot of it boils down to our ability to express our emotions and empathize with the emotions of our partner, of the other. And again, long distance, it is that modifier that just, in my opinion, makes everything a lot harder. The caveat I will say is there are some cases where long distance can strengthen a relationship because the two on the other side are very mindful about addressing those cracks when they do rear their heads. And so through that constant communication and discussion, they can figure things out and come together stronger and look forward to seeing one another. But in this dynamic Tori's describing, things are a lot more troubling, unfortunately. But it's all too common.
All the way to New York. Maybe you got lost in Mexico. You're right next think that you can hear me. Funny how the distance.
You're right next to me. I think you can hear me, but is that going to manifest? Is that actually true? It's my perception that you hear me, but do you really?
Funny how the distance learns to grow.
The distance learns to grow. Wow.
Sometimes I think you want me to touch you. Oh, how can I? Yes, when you build the great wall around you. In your eyes, I saw a future together. You just look away in the distance. Yai-dai, yai-dai-dai-dai-dai. I can feel the distance. I can feel the distance. I can feel the distance
Da-da-da-da.
getting close.
Tori does it again. Such thought-provoking, emotional music. It just feels like every single one of her performances I've heard up until this point has got me thinking about stuff. And if you guys have seen any number of my reactions just in general, you know I'm a very analytical person. I love to dive deep into the nuances of different things, and emotionally, like the way I feel about this song, I resonate with it so much. And the reason I can speak so like clearly about the issues that long distance relationships face is because I've contended with those problems internally myself in various relationships that I've been a part of. I've done a lot of introspection, thoughts, thinking about it, having conversations with my partner or others about it. And man, long distance, it is so difficult. I would never want another couple, for example, to go through that. I think it more than likely makes things harder. I heard this one case, God, who told me this? I believe it was an Uber driver, actually. It was so random. So I was with an ex of mine who we're not together anymore, hence ex. Ex was tired. I was, awake. I'm like a very social person. At least I try to be. So I'm always having conversations with strangers and Uber drivers and whatever. And this Uber driver is telling me like he's been distant from his wife, like geographically, for 6.5 years. Bro. I asked him, do you have any kids together? He's like, no. 6.5 years you've been apart? Like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you going to live with her? Or what's the situation? And he explained, right? He was telling me about how his wife is in another country, and to make ends meet, he was able to make it to the US, but for whatever reason she had to stay home, and flights are expensive, and he Ubers and he does his job to make ends meet, put bread on the table, and send money back to his family, because he knows that in the end they'll connect together. But he even told me if I could never see her again, I would still be with her forever. And that was so romantic. And I thought, man, he is such a better person than me, because I don't know if in the same position I could say the same. If I could never see that person ever again, granted, I'm not married and I don't have that same experience as he does, so maybe who knows, in that other counterfactual reality, I might do the same. But I just thought it was absolutely mind-blowing and really, really impressive, and frankly inspiring too. So I don't mean to be all like doom and gloom about long-distance relationships. I just want to paint it in a more realistic brush, but also posit that if you want to make anything work, two of you can do anything. It's really possible. If you want to end the relationship, you can do that mutually. If you want to stay together, make it work. Go through the struggles, because life is full with those. Make that decision too. But let me know what your thoughts are on everything here. We heard Tori sing about it very beautifully. Would love to hear your own thoughts on the matter, or just drop a comment for the algorithm. Hey, maybe even subscribe. I don't, ask for that too often. But more importantly, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.